Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
It's just Castle History.
Oh, as in it's an impregnable fortress.
Yes.
Oh, I get it. That's hilarious.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the.
We are a podcast that every week we choose a popular saying, taking admittedly shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, and if we're lucky, educational, dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins. But I just said oranges. For sure said oranges. Origins. But mostly we're going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Monsieur Jurassic Mark.
And I am Skinny.
Now, before we go anywhere, we have
Portcullis.
What?
Sorry, it just happens.
What did you say?
Moat. I'm sorry.
Freaking me out.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while. Sorry.
All I was going to say.
Drawbridge.
Why?
Sorry.
Do you want me to introduce the idiom then?
Sorry, I have turrets. Go ahead and introduce today's idiom.
Wow. I get it now.
Introduce today's idiom.
Well, today's idiom. Wow. Let's hear a little something from our friends over in Springfield.
Castle in the sky.
Castle in the sky. Castles in the sky. Sometimes you'll hear building castles in the skies. Today's idiom. We usually we do introduce our podcast by saying we take a popular saying. This is not popular here. This is a British one. We'll get into origins in a minute. It's not popular here.
When I put it in to find out what we were talking about, this is it. Did you mean castles in Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you mean castles in the air?
Funny.
Yeah. It's
Surely you don't mean castles in the sky.
Yeah. It's like, thank you, Google. When you stump Google, it's not common.
Yeah,
it's not popular.
It is British, so we'll it's Brit-ish. No, what I was going to say before you started shouting castle parts is we had a lot of people write in this past week wondering why we didn't even acknowledge, like wishing they could have sent in their requests or their shout-outs, because last week's came out 24 hours after Valentine's Day, and we said nothing. We didn't even acknowledge it.
No,
so,
we didn't even say like love or
nothing. No, we ended in French.
That's the language of love, isn't it?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So actually, I think that might be Italian.
Well, that's hard to say.
French kiss.
I'm
We
good, thanks.
didn't end that way.
I'm good, thanks.
Anyway, I hope you're still enjoying your cinnamon hearts and your chocolate candies. And
You may get a Hershey kiss out of me, but that's about it.
oh,
Yeah. Have you seen all the flavors
of
kisses?
okay. You know how you mock me.
What was this whole
I'm
movement?
gonna step out from my seat.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk loudly. You know how you mock me, like I have weird collections
All the time?
I buy
Yes.
things that I don't need.
Yes.
My latest idea for a collection.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'll hold on to it. You can reveal it to the Village Idiom children, and together we will describe what is happening.
So now that you mention all the flavors of Hershey's Kisses, I'm like, what if I had everyone? And this is only the beginning. I'm showing it. Yeah, go to YouTube if you want to see this. But this is the beginning of my one of each, not the packaging, like the outside package, but the actual Hershey's Kiss. If they come in a different tinfoil wrapper, each one has a different word on the top. And so
That's awesome.
I've only started, but I'm keeping my eyes open.
There is like Oreo type flavor. There's caramel flavored, chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate, truffle flavored, cookies and cream,
candy cane. These are all Christmas. These are all Halloween. These are Valentine's Day ones right there.
That is great, man.
Are plain but different colors.
Yeah.
So I do
like
know.
it. So you do. I can't even remember what I was going to say.
You said, you know how there's so many flavors? Have you seen all the flavors
Actually,
that Hershey Squirts kisses have?
Hershey squirts. No, I don't even remember where I was going with any of
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. I ruined it.
Okay, castles then. Let's get back to the idiom.
That's what we're talking about. Castles in the sky.
Have you been to a castle?
I have. Last year,
Castle Fun Park? Yep.
I was in Switzerland.
Wow. So an actual castle.
I've been in an actual castle.
When it said castles in, did you mean castles in Spain? I'm like, knowing kind of the gist of what the idiom meant in usage.
Have we said what it means yet?
I don't think so. You can
So it
jump
means
in
to
there.
have an idea or a plan or a desire that is unlikely.
It's like
it's a pipe.
lofty
It's a pipe
idea.
dream. Yeah, it's a pipe dream, which is
Okay.
more common here.
So do you mean castles in Spain? I'm like, does Spain have no castles? Like, is it like really hard to build castles in Spain? Is that like a problem? And because why would you?
Did you look it up?
And so I did look it up, and there's like a couple thousand of them.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Did you mean castles in Spain? No, I didn't.
No, castles in pain.
No, it literally has nothing to do with Spain. So I don't. Maybe it comes up in Origins. I don't know. Who knows? Someone might know. I was thinking of famous castles. And what comes
There's
to mind?
Hardcastle in McCormick.
Okay, like you're talking about the Elephant and Castle, or
No, Hardcastle in McCormick, the awesome 80s detective show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
No.
Hardcastle in McCormick.
No.
Well, that's a joke that went nowhere then.
Okay, other types of castles.
Chess move. You can you can castle someone.
Wow, you're so abstract. I love it.
There's sand.
Okay, nice.
There's castles in Spain.
A couple thousand of them. I was thinking Windsor.
Oh, you're being real.
Well, not always.
Buckingham. Oh no, that's a palace.
I don't know if a palace is a castle.
No.
Windsor is a castle. Mario has a castle.
That went from Windsor to
Castlevania. Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. What else might possibly be on the list?
I don't know the names of castles.
White Castle.
The burger place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that one.
Okay. Yeah.
But you're right. There's Elephant and Castle, right? That's a
Yeah.
restaurant or a pub or something.
Well, wasn't the Elephant? What was the place that had like embroidery or stitch work or get sewing machines?
What?
There was something Castle was like a local franchise that
Like a fabric store?
kind of, yeah, something in Castle.
Huh. I don't
Anyways,
know.
it's not like it's important or anything.
No.
Yeah, but it's I was like, I would love to go to like experience what you experienced with going to a castle.
You should come to
I
Switzerland
should go
with
to
me.
Switzerland. This year is pretty awesome already. I need to go
This year you can't. It's going to overlap with your trip that you're already planning, I think.
Well, maybe next year.
Maybe.
Yeah.
2025, you'll see castles in Switzerland.
That sounds
Did you mean
amazing.
castles in Switzerland?
Because they're there.
They are.
Yeah, they just seem so opulent and like just so over the top. That I
We
would
we
love
were
to
in a
go see
hotel
castle.
in Switzerland, and someone's like, "Do you want to go visit the castle?" I'm like, "Well, how much time do we have? Where do we have to go?" And they're like, "It's right there." I look out my window. It's right there. Like,
Yes,
we
I do. I
Walked
wanna see
across
that.
the street to
I
a
wanna
castle.
see that.
Yeah, it was a small as far as how you imagine castles to be, but it was still great.
Bouncy Castle.
Bouncy castles.
There you
There's one.
go. Those are expensive. I think it's mostly because of inflation, but
Stupid.
in terms of castles, that's probably the closest
this
we'll get
time,
to. That's probably the closest we'll get to a real castle.
That's right. Yeah.
And why is that stuff expensive?
The bouncy castles?
Yeah, like
To rent or to own?
either way, expensive.
Expensive.
Expensive. So expensive they can't even afford all the letters.
We introduced did we just introduce? Oh no, we had The Simpsons. I was like, did we just jump right in without any little?
I did hear this.
snippet or.
Have you heard of castle hysterectomy?
I don't think so.
It's impregnable.
Castle hysterectomy.
Yep. The dead air.
Is castle I don't get the joke. Like I know what you're saying. A hysterectomy.
Is that to have all your lady parts kind of
Yeah,
taken out there?
but how does the word castle work into this?
It's just castle hysterectomy.
Oh, as in it's an impregnable fortress.
Yes.
Oh, I get it. That's hilarious.
I'm going to have to just generally stop saying things if we have to debate for the next 30 seconds
It
on.
just flew over my head. I'm like, is that a real castle? Like we've been referencing Windsor and Bouncy. Have you heard of castle hysterectomy? No. Oh,
Impregnable.
impregnable fortress.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. And then this final
storming
phrase,
the castle.
your home is your castle.
Oh yeah,
Which, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Your home is your castle. What does that mean, actually?
my home is a barn, so I can't relate at all.
It's kind of a castle. Rooster Castle.
A rooster castle. Have you heard of Rooster Castle?
Impregnable.
I don't know. I got no joke. Yeah, I get it. The whole point is it's where you feel safe, right?
I don't think of a castle.
So if your home is your castle and your home is also where you hang your hat, you can hang castle is where you hang your hat. And where your heart is.
You should probably get a hat.
Wait, home is where your heart is, but I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Do you put a castle on your sleeve then?
Wait. If all these idioms are true,
I don't think they mean what
there's
you
a
think they
castle on
mean.
my sleeve.
Waiter, there's a castle on my sleeve. I'm just trying to rope in all of the useless things into one little.
Today's idiom has been
That
Happy
sounds
Valentine's
like
Day.
it's made by ChatGPT.
Exactly.
That's about the comedy level of ChatGPT. But anyways, yeah, home is your home is your castle. I like the idea of. I said at one point we had this like we're getting together with a group of friends, and it was like, what would just be so castle in the sky? What would be so dreamy, like so the highly impossible? And that was I said it would be great to be able to do it in some sort of generational aspect where you just sell everything that you ever had at the end of your life and just like, I will buy the land. And then the next person, like, I will set up this part of the castle.
Until you have a commune.
Until you have a castle. Yeah.
An actual castle.
An actual castle. Because I think that would be fun.
But you won't live to see it.
But that's part of it.
Just like a real castle.
It's something so lofty that it's not accomplishable in your time.
Wow. Well, that works with today's. If you wanted to have a castle where we live, it would take that long.
Those are one of those like sayings of greatness, though.
Imagine getting that passed when you're in your community. I need to get rezoned for what? A stone castle.
Let's put a castle here. How many floors does it have?
Can I buy the property next to me? I'm really set on a moat.
Maybe. But something that's so like there's that phrase about like planting a tree so that like generations can enjoy the shade that you'll never experience or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, something that's so grandiose that it's not likely to ever see it.
And it's also not likely to ever be taken down.
If there was a castle.
There's a castle on Marine Drive in White Rock. Have you seen that house?
Oh, yeah. That's not what I'm thinking when I say castle.
Okay.
That's like someone took a house and slapped on a castle to it. Yeah. Tourette's on to the
It's
side
like
of it.
their house is actually dressed up for Halloween. What's your house going as? A castle.
Again. Every year.
They should do that with homes. Like this year, I'm dressing up as a grizzly bear, but I'm dressing my house up as a 7-Eleven.
Speaking of, we did go to a dressed up 7-Eleven.
What? Oh, The Simpsons.
We went to the 7-Eleven. There was
That's
like
right.
one in every
Quickie Mart.
community. Yeah, it was done up like The Simpsons.
Yeah, for the Simpsons movie. We went to the Quickie Mart and then went and saw the movie.
There
with
you could buy the donuts.
what do they call the
Squishy?
Simpsons? Squishy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the donuts. You're right. They had donuts.
I
I have a picture of you
eating a donut out of
like
Homer's
next
hand
to
or something.
Homer. Yeah, something.
I think both of us are in there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I only remember you. Heart. Happy Valentine's Day. You want a Hershey squirt?
I made it myself.
I wrapped it and everything.
Oh, that is the
The little
worst
tag.
Valentine's
The
joke.
The little tag sticking out just says "Made with Love."
Worst Valentine's joke. Oh, that would just be. I've never even heard of that. It sounds illegal.
It probably is. Anyway,
Yep, your home is your castle.
your castle is on your sleeve.
Dressing up your house,
It's bouncy.
but it actually should probably come from somewhere. There's probably an actual origin to this whole thing.
I say we dig right in.
Okay, let's do it.
I said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind.
So, you'll be happy to know, first off, that this does indeed have a background story. So that's we're always off on the right foot.
So
just
informational, you say?
saying that. Hey, check. I went back and looked at. We were doing this last week, where it's like educational, check, comedic, check. I look back and one of the first things I say is, admittedly shallow, check. Okay, the expression building castles in the air, sky, air, it's coming up, is an altered version of a French idiom. Might be linked to a metaphor that was put out there by St. Augustine. So we're going to look at the definition of the phrase building castles in the sky, where it probably came from, some examples of it. Building castles in the sky did in fact come from, did you mean building castles in the air? So
really,
your other suggestion
that's hilarious.
Bang on.
Google wasn't out to
which
lunch.
means entertaining daydreams that are never going to come to pass. Building castles in the air usually involves, like we said, grandiose plans that are nearly impossible for said dreamer to ever accomplish or finish. So they're considered flights of fancy. Is that an idiom? We should do that, but it's probably all the same thing.
Flight.
Charming,
Final Fantasy.
idealized versions of something imaginary where that person with their head in the clouds, which is probably also connected. So many practical people believe that building castles in the air is a waste of time, but not everyone feels that way. Henry David Thoreau said this: "If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put the foundations under them." So you built it in the air. Just connect the dots now. Put a little basement suite in the bottom.
So build the castle in the air first and then put a foundation under it?
Correct. However, if an idea that one has conceived is brought to fruition, then it no longer exists as a castle in the air.
Wow. That makes sense.
Yeah. Castle in the air cannot be completed. If you complete it, it's just a castle. It's just an idea that you followed through. Thoreau built a cabin on Walden Pond, concentrated on his dreams as writing. He believed that God was present in nature and in humanity. And actually, I stumbled across this. You can still visit Walden Woods in that area where Thoreau lived and wrote half of this stuff that we're talking about. Anyway, the idea of building castles in the air may go back as far as St. Augustine, who lived in 354 to 430. He created the metaphor subtracto fundamento in air edificare.
That sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
Which translates to build on air with no foundation. So that predates all of it. Sounds very similar. The idiom building castles in the air first appeared in the 1500s as a translation from the French, which we said. However, the original literal translation of the French idiom, where this comes from, is actually, if you translate it word for word for word, is actually building castles in Spain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So as you're talking, I'm like, yeah, you've got the origins right there.
Oh, that's so funny.
Actually,
did you mean castles in Spain?
Yeah, you did. That's the origin of building castles in the sky. Building castles in the air is building castles in Spain. The first translation of the phrase into English came from a work of French poetry known as Roman de la Rose, translated in the mid-1300s. Thou shalt make castles then in Spain and dream of joy all but in vain. Thou shalt make castles then in Spain and dream of joy all but in vain. So this poem about desire and romantic ideas and love, the idiom building castles in Spain was already well known at this time to mean something that is impossible to accomplish, because Spain was held by the Moors, which was an impenetrable force to the French. You might say it was a castle hysterectomy. So it was impenetrable by the French and not a place that somebody could conquer. And what did you do when you conquered? You built a castle. So a crazy idea was to say, oh, that's like building a castle in Spain, because you could never beat the Moors. So yeah, it does come from building castles in Spain, because that was such a far-fetched idea that it might as well be in the clouds. So by the 1500s, a reference to building castles in Spain was no longer understood, and it became building castles in the air, building castles in the sky. So
that's good.
Check.
That's awesome.
Google was right.
Informative without knowing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was enjoyable that it played out that way today.
One of the cool castles in my brain is in Normandy.
One of the coolest castles in my brain.
Well, because I've just seen pictures. Got a lot. I just see pictures. Well, you got Princess Peach's castle. You got Bowser's castle. The ones I might actually see in my life. No, there's one. Is it? It's Saint Michel. It's like a kilometer off the coast of Normandy.
Okay.
And so it's an island, and so they built an abbey on it, and so it's like a fortified, fortressy looking thing that was a castle with an abbey.
Is it one of those things where the castle is the same size as the island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and like its title. And so and now it's got a moat, all moat, or now it doesn't. And so it could only be accessed at certain times.
Interesting.
So yeah, so it was
imagine building that back then.
No. We got to get go, buddy. Get the buckets out there, cement.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Pre-cement, it'd be like masonry, but not
wild.
No technology.
And it's enormous. Yeah, it looks like a pyramid. It's so vertical with the abbey, and I just think it's a neat idea.
Huh.
Yeah, that one looks cool. And then there's of course Bowser's Castle.
Right.
Yeah. Running a close second.
But usually with I don't know about Bowser's, but fictional castles always have cool gates that are shaped like jaws and teeth and
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
There's no real one like that, is there?
The one, no, it's not in Switzerland. The one that they premised Disney's castle off of is is European, somewhere in that area.
I've seen that. I don't know what it's called, but
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's that.
That is that, and I hope you enjoyed the educational part of today's
some days we
episode.
Try and deliver on all sorts of bits and pieces.
Well, what do you say? You
Mo.
say it? What? Whoa, that's loud. Riddlink is a game we like to play. It takes a two-part trivia-based question, requires a two-part but overlapping answer, overlapping by sound, syllable, word, or words. For example, last week we left you with this one. Our episode was 267. Our idiom was baker's dozen, and we left you with. I wrote down the wrong one. The son Howard Cunningham's son is also the star, or is also in a movie with Steve Martin with 12 Goods.
Yes. That one was Richie. No, it was Richie. Rich Cheaper by the Dozen.
Rich Cheaper by the Dozen. That's
yes.
right. So the correct answer is not Richie. It's not Cheaper by the Dozen. To play Riddlink, it's Richie by the Dozen. Richie per by the dozen.
Amen.
That's hard.
Amen. That was so Pentecostal. I love it.
I was rewinding, not speaking in tongues.
I couldn't tell. Okay.
All right, so
I have a couple prepared.
I got.
Here we go. It's like I work at an embroidery shop, hey? Okay, here we go. They sing, hey ya, due to unrealistic dreamy goals.
That would be okay. Say it again.
They sing, hey ya, due to unrealistic dreamy goals.
That would be Outcastles in the Sky.
Yes.
Have to have the hard T on that one. Outcastles. Okay, here's one for you. A stone building of a pipe dream in the Toronto arena. Stone building of a pipe dream in the Toronto arena. How do you like that? Ended up with an ad playing.
I'm going to go with Castles in the Sky Dome.
That's it.
Is it Sky Dome?
Castles in the Sky Dome.
That was the only thing that kind of made sense to me. Okay,
yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
I didn't know how popular Toronto's arena actually was.
All I know, I think CN Tower. That's Toronto. CN Tower. The end.
That's
Young
Street.
Here we go. Okay, I got another one. The scenario where all parties benefit in England's oldest and largest inhabited castle.
What?
The scenario where all parties benefit in England's oldest and largest inhabited castle.
This is a classic example of, I don't know what the oldest still inhabited, I have no idea. But that's got to be Windsor Castle.
Yes.
Windsor Castle.
That's a Windsor Castle.
That's a Windsor not.
So I wasn't sure how much it really overlapped because it's but you know what? I was trying to get that.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got one more, but why don't you tell everybody how they can play?
Villegitimate children, we would love to hear from you. Thank you for all those who comment in. Reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebook, the YouTubes, or the X at 3 Minutes Gone.
Very nice. All right, here it is. The country referencing origin of today's idiom. Let me read just that part again. The country referencing origin of today's idiom is what morphine is an example of. Wow, I got tripped up on my own thing. The country referencing origin of today's idiom is what morphine is an example of.
Wow, and that is 3 minutes gone.
It's a mouthful, but I hope that made sense.
Wow, that's a hard one. Okay.
Yeah, the country referencing origin of today's idiom is what morphine is an example of. No Spain, no gain.
Well, it's good. I liked it. Thank you for putting all that together. I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Cool. Well, I'm Skinny.
I'm Dressy Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Okay, this may take a second. Here we go. That's all you get.
That's 3 minutes gone.